drums rock. Kohberger's face on every screen, a villain or a pawn. He's screaming in the comments, but the heart's long gone. Monetize the bloodshed, stack that ad cash high. While Maddie's dreams and Kaylee's life just wither up and die. Burn it down, this toxic flow. You're selling out their souls for a viral show. Maddie, Kaylee, Xana, Ethan, lost in your disgrace. We're choking on your bullshit, spitting shame in your face. Graveyard glow, you're killing their lives. Forgotten in the static of your endless fight. Armchair detectives, yeah, you're playing CSI, spewing half-baked theories while their families cry. Kohberger's guilty, he's framed. You love the fucking game, but Xana's smiling, Ethan's heart ain't fuel for your fame. You're dropping hashtags, chasing clout. It's a digital disease, turning tragedy to content, bringing justice to its knees. We're sick of your obsession, your drama's a disgrace. You're dancing on their graves, got their blood on your face. Burn it down, this toxic flow. You're selling out their souls for a viral show. Maddie, Kaylee, Xana, Ethan, lost in your disgrace. We're choking on your bullshit, spitting shame in your face. Graveyard glow, you're killing their lives. Forgotten in the static of your endless fight. We're screaming for their voices, but you're too deaf to hear. Maddie's laugh, Kaylee's spark, drowned in your fucking sneer. Xana's strength, Ethan's soul, buried in your lies. You're a pack of hyenas, feasting while their memory dies. Shame on you, you greedy fucks, for twisting up their pain. Shame on us for clicking, feeding this infernal flame. We're all part of the sickness, this digital decay. But I'm done with your circus, I'm breaking away. Burn it down, this toxic glow. You're selling out their souls for a viral show. Maddie, Kaylee, Xana, Ethan, lost in your disgrace. We're choking on your bullshit, spitting shame in your face. Graveyard glow, you're killing their lives. Forgotten in the static of your endless fight. Maddie, Kaylee, Xana, Ethan, whisper through the haze. We failed you in the spotlight, lost in this toxic maze. Turn off the screen, kill the glow. Let their names rise again. But we're too deep in this hellhole. Shame's our only friend.
Bryan Kohberger was a scholar of crime, trained to unravel the minds of killers. But within his fractured psyche, the knowledge became a weapon, twisted not to catch the wicked, but to become one. From a lonely childhood to the brutal murders of 4 University of Idaho students, Ethan, Xana, Madison, and Kaylee, his life descended into horror. On July 2nd, he pled guilty, sparing himself death but enraging families seeking answers. Now in the concrete hell of prison, his mind faces a new crucible. Communal showers, mess halls, the yard, the chaos of general population. Step into the abyss of Kohberger's soul, where ego, toxic masculinity, and evil collide. Born in Pennsylvania, young Bryan was an outsider, mocked for his weight, carrying shame like a wound. "I'm too heavy. It makes me feel even more disconnected," he wrote on Tapatalk years later. His extreme OCD habits emerged early, arranging toys with military precision, washing hands until they bled, a desperate bid to control a chaotic world. His family, middle class but fractured by 2 bankruptcies, struggled with his emotional distance. His mother, Mary Ann, worked at the Pleasant Valley School District, but even her presence couldn't bridge the gap. Intelligent but distant, his sister recalled, a boy lost in his own fog. He resented the family's religious rituals, dismissing faith as illogical, planting seeds of rebellion against rules, against God, against the world that seemed to reject him. As a teenager, Kohberger's isolation deepened, his psyche unraveling further. Heroin became his escape. He needed to numb the pain of rejection. "I was in a bad place," using to escape how I felt about myself. He confessed online. Sobriety came, but not healing. He turned to veganism, not for ethics, but for discipline, sculpting his body to shed the shame of obesity. Jogging and kickboxing became ritual, pounding pavement, throwing punches to outrun his demons. His Tapatalk post revealed a chilling detachment. I feel like I'm out of my body, my mind in a fog, like I'm watching a movie. Dissociation and depersonalization ruled him, a world where emotions were foreign. I don't feel emotions like others do. I see people crying or laughing, and it's like I'm watching a movie, he wrote, hinting at the lack of empathy that left him mimicking human connection, a facade masking a growing void. Nihilism crept in. Nothing feels real, so what's the point of anything? The question that would echo into the darkest acts. In his 20s, Kohberger's mind found solace in dangerous ideas. Darwinism taught him life was a brutal struggle, survival of the ruthless. Nietzsche filled his ego, whispering of man above the herd. Most people are sheep, he sneered to a classmate, but some rise above. Freud's id, the primal beast within, fascinated him, mirroring his own urges. Libertarianism justified rejecting authority, while nihilism stripped away morality. His extreme OCD habits, checking locks, organizing notes, become a shield against chaos, a way to impose order on a world he couldn't feel. At WSU, criminology became his obsession, not to catch killers, but to emulate them. He studied their motives, their methods, how they stalked, struck, evaded, turning knowledge into a blueprint for evil, a path to instant gratification, to fill the void where emotions should have been. Women were Kohberger's obsession, a mirror to his wounded ego. From high school rejections to unanswered dating app messages, each slight was a narcissistic injury, a stab to his fragile self-image. He tried to talk to girls, but it came off creepy, a friend recalled. His toxic masculinity, equating manhood with dominance, turned rejection into rage. Madison Mogan, a vibrant, unattainable, became his target, a symbol of the acceptance he craved, but never won. His ego depletion, years of suppressing rage from bullying and rejection, left him brittle, while threatened egotism turned every perceived slight into a call for vengeance. His criminology training, meant to protect, became a weapon to orchestrate a perfect crime at 1122 King Road, a stage to prove his power, his manhood, his superiority. November the 13th, Kohberger's white Elantra cuts through Moscow's silent streets, a K-bar knife sheathed at his side. His plan, honed by criminology, is meticulous. Enter 1122 King Road, find Madison, strike with precision, and vanish. A testament to his control, his idea, his OCD habits, checking the knife, mapping the route, ensure every detail is perfect. His pulse thunders, adrenaline alive, the promise of gratification, fleeting escape from the dissociated fog. He slips into the house, his training guiding silent steps, avoiding the cameras, leaving no trace, up to the third floor, Madison's room. The stage for his twisted fantasy. The knife feels alive, his masculinity made still. He opens the door expecting her alone, his script unfolding perfectly. But chaos erupts. Kaylee lies beside Madison. Her presence a dagger through his black and white script. His rigid mind, unable to process the gray, collapses under threatened egotism. His fantasy of control, his proof of manhood, is ruined. Narcissistic injury ignites a volcanic rage. Every rejection, every laugh, every unanswered message. They're all the same, his mind screams. The women who made him feel small, invisible, feel less. The knife rises, and the scholar becomes the savage. Madison goes first, then Kaylee. Each strike a release of toxic fury, a warped assertion of masculinity. The room is a slaughterhouse, blood pooling, his vision blurred by sweat and adrenaline. His ego depletion strips away restraint, his criminology knowledge guiding each brutal blow. Where to strike, how to silence. Oh no, a sound. From below? Xanacronodal. His predator's instincts honed by study lock on. Downstairs, Xana and Ethan Chapin meet the same fate, their lives snuffed out in the frenzy of violence. 4 dead, their future stolen by a man whose education became his evil, whose masculinity became his malice. Kohberger flees, blood on his hands, sweat stinging his eyes, blind to Dylan frozen in the shadows. A knife sheath left behind betrays his training. A fatal flaw from a would-be mastermind. Back in his apartment, the rush of gratification fades, leaving only the void of his dissociation. Nothing feels real, he wrote years ago, and now the reality of 4 deaths weigh on him, not with guilt, but with hollow ache of failure. His fantasy of control, of transcending the herd, had crumbled into chaos. July the 2nd, Kohberger pled guilty, trading the death penalty for life without parole. A final act of control that enraged victims' families. The families call it cruel and shocking, denied answers by a plea deal shrouded in secrecy. Prison would now await. He would have a new crucible for his broken psyche, where communal showers, mess halls, the yard, general population test the man who sought to be more than human. In the communal showers, he stands exposed. The shame of his obese past would resurface. His narcissistic injury flares. Every glance, real or imagined, feels like a slight, echoing the rejections that. The mess hall is a theater of survival, a chaos of clashing trays and shouting alliances that overwhelm his rigid black and white mind. His lack of empathy, I don't know, feel emotions like others do, blocks alliances. His social deficits, a liability. No lifer fan club for him. Sociopaths will want to take him down. His OCD habits, counting bites, arranging trays, become a desperate anchor mocked by those who seek weakness. His ego depletion erodes resolve. Each perceived slight, a bumped shoulder, stroking rage. He can't act on it without consequence. In the yard, where power is raw and hierarchies are forged, humbles the man who saw himself above the herd. His criminology knowledge, useless without authority, can't shield him from predators who know his crime. Toxic masculinity, once a drive to dominate women, meets a test, proving himself among men who value strength over intellect. His social history, he came off creepy, makes alliances elusive. Threatened egotism simmers, but a wrong move invites violence. His narcissistic injury festers as his notoriety makes him a target, not a king. His OCD habits, pacing, checking, his only solace in a world he can't control. In general population, his psyche faces its ultimate trial. The man who planned the perfect crime, undone by a knife sheath, is no mastermind here. His dissociation, nothing feels real, offers no escape from the relentless noise. His OCD habits, counting steps, checking locks, are a mockery in a world of order. Narcissistic injury, threatened egotism Risk confrontation he can't win. Toxic masculinity marking him vulnerable. Kohberger's story is a chilling paradox. A boy shaped by rejection. A teen lost to addiction. A scholar who weaponized knowledge. A killer undone by his ego and masculinity. His Darwinism, Nietzsche, Freud, nihilism, libertarianism justified his crimes, but in prison they are irrelevant. His veganism, jogging, kickboxing, built a body, not a soul. His OCD habits and dissociation trapped him in a fog. His lack of empathy and toxic masculinity leading to tragedy. Could a moment of connection, a teacher's guidance, have stopped him, or was his path inevitable? A collision of intellect, ego, and evil. The plea deal sparing him death leaves families in anguish with no words. Prison with its showers, mess halls, and yards, where his psyche once a predator, now faces the prey. Ethan, Xana, Madison, Kaylee. 4 lives, bright and boundless, extinguished by a man who sought power in their blood. Their memory endures, a call to see the unseen, the challenge, to challenge the darkness before it consumes again.